Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Loud House. And it's an exciting week we have this week as the Washington Redskins are coming off such a big win against the Jacksonville Jaguars. 41-10, very close to my prediction, as I predicted the Redskins will win 31-14. I knew the Washington Redskins had it in them. Whether it was with RG3 or Kirk Cousins, I knew this team had it in them to put up big numbers. And they did just that. By putting up such huge numbers, it went a long way to getting this team a lot of confidence. I think this Washington Redskins team will build on that confidence in this coming week. I think that they'll have an edge on the Philadelphia Eagles. But let's start by taking a look at the keys, at some of the keys to the game this week as the Washington Redskins face the Philadelphia Eagles. The first key to the game is going to be the Washington Redskins. They've got to get to Nick Foles early and often. They got to make sure that they put a lot of pressure on Nick Foles. Nick Foles, over the first two games of the season, has gotten off to a slow start with this Eagles team. And because he hasn't gotten off to such a fast start, it's allowed defenses to kind of hone in and key on him, put pressure on him. The Washington Redskins have got to do that early and often, and they have to do it a lot in this ball game. So if the Washington Redskins front seven is able to put pressure on Foles, keep him on his back, keep him moving in and out of the pocket, make him make quick, decisive decisions, might be able to get some turnovers, might even be able to have another sack fest like they did last week against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Get Foles on his back, keep him flustered. That allows you to keep Sproles and Shady McCoy out of the game. That brings me to my next key of the game. Shut down Shady. The Washington Redskins have to dominate this defensive line. They have to be able to stuff the run. Chris Baker has done an excellent job at nose tackle with Stephen Bowen being down. Chris Baker's got to be a cog that makes Shady have to go left and right and not being able to go north and south. So shutting down Shady McCoy is going to be a tall task for this defense. Shady McCoy is no slouch, but I think this Washington Redskins team has it in them to do it. And I think if they can shut down Shady and do what I just said in the first key, keeping Foles active and making Foles drop back, having to do a drop back game plan and have to throw the ball a lot more, will be in the Redskins' favor this week. Third key to the game, no turnovers for this Washington Redskins team. No turnovers this week. As long as the Redskins are able to hold on to the football. No more of the block punts and the debacle that we saw on special team in previous weeks. Hold on to the football. Don't fumble the football. Most importantly, with Kirk Cousins at his first start of this season, no interceptions. You know that this Eagles defense is going to blitz them. They're going to send the kitchen sink and make Kirk Cousins beat them. And that's why it's so important that we take care and we follow the next key to the game, which is, quite simply, run the football. This Eagles defense gave up 169 yards on the ground against the Colts. The Washington Redskins are going to have to run the football a lot like we did last week against Jacksonville. I said last week 20 to 25 carries for Alfred Morris. We have to have the same formula this week. At least 20 to 25 carries for Alfred Morris to be successful. And I think with this defensive line that the Philadelphia Eagles has, I think they'll have some success. A lot more success than they had last week against the Jacksonville Jaguars. If they're able to do that, I think they'll keep the defense keep the Eagles defense on the field and keep Nick Foles, Darren Sproles, Shady McCoy, and that offense on the sideline and keep them from getting fired up and keep them from getting going. The last key to the game has to be pass block perfection. In the instance where Kirk Cousins is going to have to throw the football, the Washington Redskins offensive line has to play a perfect game. We know you guys can run block, but you got to make sure that you're able to pass block as well and protect Kirk Cousins. The Washington Redskins offensive line did a very good job last week of pass blocking. I noticed that Kirk Cousins at times had 5, 6, 7 seconds to throw the football sometimes. They have to do the same thing this week against the Philadelphia Eagles in this hostile environment. Also, it's going to be a very emotional game for Deshaun Jackson and some of these guys. The Washington Redskins have got to figure out a way to get Deshaun going, get him active early in order to lower the feel of excitement, lower that excitement level for Deshaun Jackson coming into this game. My final score for the game this week, I know I picked the Eagles to win this game, but something just tells me I feel good about this Redskin team with the way that they played last week, so I'm actually going to change it. I'm going to pick the Washington Redskins 27, the Philadelphia Eagles 14. The Washington Redskins move to 2-1 and actually take first place in the division. I think this defense itself will be able to get them there. All right, that's going to do it for the keys to the game. Also, please make sure you listen to the Loud House this week. We got a great show and a number of great guests coming on the show this week. We're going to talk about the Washington Redskins Jacksonville Jaguars matchup. I'm going to break that game down for you last week. We got that last week's game down for you. We're also going to take a look at this week's matchup with the Eagles. I'm going to go more in depth on the Washington Redskins Philadelphia Eagles matchup. I got a little Wizards for you this week. We're going to be talking Otto Porter, Glenn Rice, DeJuan Blair, Paul Pierce, Chris Humphreys, John Wall. I'm going to let you know what I think the Washington Wizards are going to do this season as they move into the start of training camp. We got Kennedy Clark from the KL Zone is going to be joining the show this week to talk about Roger Goodell and his press conference. Really? 48 minutes, Roger, and you didn't tell us anything. I'm like Han Solo in Star Wars. We don't want to talk about your committee. KO will come on to discuss those things with us. Robert Bonnette from robsagenius.blogspot.com will join us as well to talk about this weekend's WWE pay-per-view with the Night of Champions. We're going to talk about some of the new comic book shows that are coming to TV, like Gotham, The Flash, and so much more on the Loud House this week. As always, make sure you guys follow the Loud House. You can follow us very easily. The Loud House, LOUDHOUSE. Follow us on Twitter @InTheLoudHouse. As always, I'm Chris Dowdell. Enjoy the Redskins game, and we'll see you on Thursday. I'm going to try to get back in the Loud House again before Thursday's matchup with the New York Giants and to recap this Eagles game. As always, Chris Dowdell, you are in the Loud House.